Hello and welcome to Paper Plays Julie K.
Good morning and thank you so much for stopping by to check out my latest video. And today I'm here working on the hashtag Little Bits of Lace 2024, and I decided to make some paper clips for the journal that I'm working on, my Little Bits of Lace journal. And I know earlier in one of our episodes I did create little snippet flowers, and I went ahead and added one of them to a paper clip, so I'm probably going to use this one in the journal. I had some that I had in my stash from before that I just wanted to show you guys just kind of as examples of using little bits of lace. This is a piece of lace right here, and then also on this one, this is a piece of lace that got layered, and this is part of like a Battenberg doily that I cut off, and the same Battenberg doily right there. I'm not sure if I'll end up using these in my journal or not. These have just been in my stash, but I figured we can make a few different samples of paper clips. And so the first one I wanted to show you guys is probably the most basic one that I know of, using little bits of lace. And so I do have this scrap that I pulled out of my scrap pile right before I started recording. And this one, you basically take your little bit of lace and you just tie it onto the top of your paper clip. And you put one knot or two knots. It's just kind of up to your preference. If you wanted to, you could add a piece of material while you're tying or a piece of ribbon. And so I'm just going to cut this one off a little bit at the top to make it even, and we'll just save this piece for, using it on a snippet or something, or maybe we'll use it on one of the other paper clips. So there is the first little paper clip. So that's, like I said, one of the most basic, easy ones. And then I just wanted to show you didn't have to use, like, this is a piece of normal kind of lace that's already been made that way, but you can also take some sort of lace like this. I know that this is longer than my 12 inches probably if I were to measure it, but you guys can see it's a scrap. It's left over from a pin cushion that I made, but I just wanted to show you how you could take and do the same thing like what we just did using a scrap off of here. So I think, oh, look at this here. I think this sector right here looks like a pretty good scrap off of here. So let's just cut this off. I had cut out some little circles out of this lace and used it for a pin cushion, and I'm just going to kind of even this one out a little bit. So now it almost looks like a strip of lace. But I just wanted to show you how you could take like a very scrap piece of lace and use it. And you could do the same method that we just did, and you stick it through your paper clip top and you just tie it off. And then you have a nice little decorative paper clip. It looks, a little bit nicer than just using a plain old looking paper clip. I do also have, if you guys open up my description box, I do have links for some of my past videos on this series. I have a link to Corey Dahman's channel. She's the one that started this challenge. So now I have two little paper clips I can use in my journal. Next, I wanted to show you another style of paper clip that I use often in my journals, and I'm starting off with some sort of piece of paper. This time around I chose to punch one. You can do like a heart shape, you can do, kind of any shape you want. And I usually do two for this method. So I do two pieces of paper the same. You can also just tear a piece of paper. It doesn't really matter. And of course you're going to need a paper clip. And so what I'm going to do for this one is I'm just going to hook the paper clip on one of the pieces of paper. And then this one's going to end up getting glued on it. I'm thinking I want to hook this paper clip sideways onto a project like this way. So I'm just going to keep that in the back of my head so that I know the orientation. You could also do it this way, but I think I want to do it looking this way. And let's see, so that's going to be my paper clip to hook on something, so I need some glue. This one's going to be an open paper clip, so you will see the back side of this one. I'll show you guys in a minute how to make like a hidden paper clip where you don't see your actual paper clip. So I'm just going to go ahead, and you can see that the paper clip is hooked on here. I'm going to add some glue. And then I'm just going to glue those two pieces together, so you can kind of see I have the scrapbooking paper on the front side and the back side of the paper clip here. And again, I'm continuing to work with the paper, the scrapbooking paper pad, and it's from Hobby Lobby called Distress Florals. And this was just a scrap that I had punched out of some of the papers that were left over after I made the envelope flips in my journal. So now that we have that done, we're just going to decorate it real quick. And so, and when you do this style, you just need to decorate the front side. So I did pull out, again, just a scrap piece of lace. I do have like a remnant of a piece of tulle that might not show up on camera very well. I'm going to put that on there. I have some eyelash trim, and I also have a piece of bridal lace that I cut off. And so I think what I'm going to do first is I'll glue, I think I want it to go kind of like this, and then the eyelash trim, and then this will be on the top. That's how I'm going to glue it down. So again, just use kind of whatever little bits of lace or trim that you have in your stash. Again, I just dug these out of my basket that's sitting right here, or not a basket, but it's a bowl. I usually try and work from that first whenever I'm working on a project, and then if that doesn't work, then I have, if you guys watched my first episode, I have a lot of my laces and trims kind of sorted, you know, scraps sorted out into little clear bags. So like I'll have like my eyelet trim in one, I'll have dangles in one, I'll have ones with flowers in one. So if I'm looking for a specific type of lace, then that's the next spot I look for it. And then of course, if that doesn't work, then I go to my full bolts of lace where I've wrapped them around chipboard, or I have them in a drawer. So for this one, I think I'm just going to cut off the pearl just to keep a little bulk off of my journal, and then I'm just going to go ahead and glue this piece of bridal lace. And again, this is just a remnant that I cut off of some bridal lace, and then I'm just going to glue that down. Very cute. And then again, if this was a page in your journal, you would just hook it onto your journal so you have a cute little paper clip. So that's one style that I wanted, one of the other styles I wanted to show you guys. Then I thought I would show you a couple different versions of a hidden paper clip. So again, I'm starting off with some punched out paper, and this time I have 4 pieces. And I use the punch, it's this particular one from Martha Stewart that I'm using. And then on 2 of the papers, I did stamp a ledger, and that one came from this TaylorMade journal from Creative Expressions. It's a ledger one. It's one of Taylor or Lorna Taylor's stamp sets. I really like this one. It's one of her newer ones. And this one's kind of the same as what we did on the previous one, except this time I'm going to put the paper clip over both of these papers. So you can see there's 2 pieces of paper, and I did the wrong sides are touching and the right sides are on the outside. And then next, I'm just going to put glue on both of these sides. So I'll just start on this top side here. You want to make sure this is glued nicely. And it looks like I forgot to ink the edges on this one, so I'm going to do that real quick. And I'm just using Tim Holtz Distress ink, and it's in Victorian Velvet. So I'm going to go ahead and just glue that on top. We're basically hiding the paper clip. You can, see it a little bit at the very top, but that doesn't bother me. And then we're going to do the same thing on the back side. Sometimes hot glue works a little bit better for this technique. I might have to go in and add a little bit more of the tacky glue, but we'll see. I was just hoping to use the glue that I had sitting here and not have to plug in my hot glue. So again, on the back side, you can see I am being quite liberal about adding glue because I really want this to stick nicely. And then I'm going to glue this one on the back side. So again, we're basically covering up that paper clip. So I can show you this again on so then once you open it up, you can kind of see, this is where you're going to hook it right here on the paper clip. But the paper clip is hidden because it's hidden in between the two layers of paper on both sides. So hopefully that makes sense on that one. So again, let's go ahead and decorate this one. And you can make a decision. If you just like it like this, you can just leave it like this. This one I would probably put on maybe the top of a page and hook something underneath it on a journal. But again, since we're using little bits of lace, we better use some lace. And I have some scraps sitting here to decorate. I'm not quite sure exactly what I want to do. I just kind of grabbed some stuff here in my stash. So I have this little remnant right here. I also have a dangle, which is really pretty, that got cut off of something else. So I was thinking I could do something like that. I have some of this flower trim. And then, of course, maybe I would put some eyelash trim just because I like how shabby that looks underneath it. So maybe I'll just go like that. And I think that's kind of a pretty little paper clip. So I'm going to run with that. So there again is what this one looks like. And again, if I hook this on the top of a page or a journal card, that's what it's going to look like. And then on the back side, that's what it's going to look like. So you can also make a decision. And I think I'm going to decorate the back side so that it looks pretty on the back side also. So I'm just going to flip it over. And I just pulled out, I have some other things sitting here. I have another remnant of lace. So I think I might just do the kind of the same thing that I did on this side. I just don't have another dangle that I want to cut off on anything. I don't have a remnant, so I think I'm just going to glue this little piece down here. Again, just using up little scraps of lace and then some more eyelash trim. Or eyelash yarn, whatever you want to call it. And then I'm going to glue another one of these flowers on the back side. And this came off of some trim also from Hobby Lobby. I usually have remnants of these little flowers kind of floating around in my basket of scraps, just because sometimes I'll cut off a longer piece to use on a project and then I end up cutting one or two off. So they make perfect little layering pieces. So that's the back side and the front side. And again, one last look on this little card I have sitting here. So there's the front side and the back side. So I really like how that one turned out, and I think it's really cute with Lorna Taylor's ledger stamp behind it. And it's still drying, so as you can see it fell apart. So we'll set that aside just so it has a chance to dry there. And if not, I'll just take out my hot glue and glue it again if it doesn't dry. So there's that method of creating a hidden paper clip. I'm going to show you another one, and then if you want to stick around, I'll maybe do one with material too. So for the next type of hidden paper clip, you do need a paper strip, and it doesn't really matter the size. It just a little bit longer is nicer. I think this one measures like 10¼ inches, but I am going to be cutting it down. So like I said, a smaller one would be fine. So, and I'm just going to fold it. So this one is only a one-sided scrapbooking paper. So I am going to fold it with kind of the wrong side out to begin with. I'm going to take my paper clip and I'm just going to hook that over the fold. So the fold is right here. So if you were to put in your paper clip on a piece of paper, it would look like that at this point. But of course, we're going to make this hidden. So then my next step is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to fold up the piece of paper. If you didn't want to do that, you could like cut out like a heart or some other shape and glue over that too if you wanted to. And you could do this exact same method with a strip of material. So now on this back side, you know, the paper clip has, you know, one side that's longer, one side shorter. Again, this will be on the back side. So it's up to you if you want to make this side shorter, or if you wanted to make it longer, or you could even make it even longer. I think I'm going to make this side shorter on the back, so I'm going to go like this on the back side. And then I'm going to choose then to cut off the overhang. So here's the top of the paper clip. So you can kind of see right here, I'm just going to trim right here. I'm going to cut this little square off. And then again on this side, when I flip it over, I'm going to cut this one off too. And I should have left this one slightly longer here, but that's okay. I think it looks fine on this side, other than I can't cut very straight. But we can fix this side. You know, you can see I kind of cut this piece a little too short. I should have left it a little bit longer. I could just glue a little scrap over it. And I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and, well, before I do that, you can see now it kind of looks something like this. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to, first of all, glue the paper over the paper clip, kind of like how we did the last one. And then I'll do it on this side also, so that it stays nice and secure. Then I got to make a decision. I think I really want to, I don't like that I can see the top of this paper clip, so I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to take one of these scraps that I just did and I'm going to cover it. There's always ways to fix your mistakes, so no big deal. So again, if you can kind of see here where the paper clip, you know, and I chose to cut this one or fold it a little bit shorter than the other side. So again, that's how it would look on the page. And you can do it from the side or you can do this one from the top. Again, it doesn't matter for hooking onto your project. And again, I have some different laces and trims sitting here on my desk to play with. And I'm going to decorate this one on both sides like I did the other one. So let's start off with the longer side that I added that scrap offcut just to hide my mistake. I'm going to start off with, I have some cheesecloth sitting here. So I think that's going to be my first layer. And so let's just add just a little bit of glue. Or maybe I want to do, maybe I'll put down some lace first. Here's a scrap piece of lace. So I'm going to put that down first, and then I'm going to put the cheesecloth over it. And And then I have some different stuff sitting here. I even have a whole pile sitting here of stuff too. I have a nice little dangle here. That might look kind of nice. Or, well, I kind of like this though. I kind of like this one, which is my original one that I took out. And I'm just going to cut off one of the layers here. Then I still have 2 left I can use somewhere else. And I'm going to cut off this very top part here too. And so I'm just going to choose to glue this one down on top of those other 2 layers. I actually put a little glue where I didn't want it, so I'm just going to kind of tap it off there. So that's what this layer looks like. And then again, if it's a little too, if you don't like the way all of the stuff is hanging off the sides, you can just kind of trim it, which I'm going to do a little bit of that. But I think that'll look really nice. Again, hanging on some sort of page in your journal with a journal card behind it. So there's that side. And again, I'm going to choose to decorate the back side. So this one, again, when you stick it onto your page, you're only going to see this top part right here. So keep that in mind because I folded it shorter. So I just have to decorate this top little part up here. So I could start off again with some cheesecloth possibly on this side also. I do have this nice little remnant piece. I could cut that down there. I also have this fun little one too. Let's see what that one looks like. You know, I could just cut it and have 2. I wonder what that would look like if that's, or if I just like, I think I like the look of just 1. So let's just do 1. So again, I'm just going to put a little glue on the back. And I'm going to cut this one down so I still have lots of this lace to still play with. You know, it was a remnant to begin with, and I'm just using a small piece of it. Then I'm just going to glue that on top. And again, let that dry, but here's what this side will look like on a page in your journal. Really cute. And then again, here's this one. I really like how this one turned out. And if you wanted to take it a step further, you could add a button or a pearl or something in the middle. But again, I like to try and keep, since I do like to decorate a lot, I do like to try and not put too much of that stuff, extra stuff on it, because it's going to bulk it up even more. But like I said, you could put a little, you know, a cute little button or something on it if you wanted to. Especially if you're just using it for packaging or something. So there's that one. And then it kind of as a bonus one, same idea that we just did for the hidden paper clips, but we're going to use a piece of material. And so I'm starting off with a scratch or leftover piece of material. It's a square, and I'm going to make 2 on this one, so just to show you how you can like maybe mass produce a couple. And this square measures, I think it's about 4 by 5 1/4. But it was just a remnant that I pulled from my stash, and I'm just going to fold it in half. And like I said, this one, since it's longer, I can go ahead and make 2 paper clips at the same time. So I have 2 paper clips. And then the other thing that I like to do when I'm working with material and not paper is, you know, glue can seep through your material. And I don't want any glue in between the layers because, again, I want to use this as a hidden paper clip. So I'm just going to stick, like if you have a piece of wax paper, this is one of those Teflon sheets. It's one of those Ranger mats that I cut up into smaller sizes. And I'm just going to hook this on here, and it might just be easier to, I'll just fold the material over. And again, this is just to keep the glue from seeping through until it's dried. And so I'm just going to kind of evenly space my paper clips on here. And again, you could do this again with paper if you'd rather like fold your scratch piece of paper and do that. But and then I'm going to glue another piece of material over this. And I'm going to have to cut this one down. I didn't have another shorter piece. So I'm just going to glue this one on top just to hide my paper clips a little bit. And this one on the back you can see is a little bit longer, but that doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and glue this one down. Again, I'm thinking hot glue might work a little bit better. But I'm going to try the Fabri-Tac that I have sitting here. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue just right around each of the paper clips. And again, this is just an easy way to mass produce. I mean, you could do a whole strip of fabric. You could have like a big fold over thing and you could have 10 paper clips on it. This time I'm just doing the 2 just because that's what it worked. I maybe could have fit a third one on here if I tried. And so I'm just going to kind of press that glue down around those paper clips. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the back side. And again, this is exactly the same thing as kind of what we just did with paper. I'm just showing you how you can do it with material too if you want to. You could even do the paper strip one that we just showed with material too. I just thought this was another fun little technique just to show you how you could do it with, you know, you could do a couple at a time. And so again, I have that Teflon sheet in between the layers here so that it's not going to seep through. Otherwise it would attach and then you wouldn't be able to use it as a functional paper clip. So just keep that in mind. Again, if you don't have the Teflon sheets, you can just stick a piece of wax paper in between the two. Or like a liner from like your cereal, if you eat cereal for breakfast, just that plastic sheet. Or even a plastic like acetate sheet would work too. All right. So you can kind of see the glue still drawing in underneath there, but that's fine. And so I have some different laces sitting here. I have this really pretty lace that I kind of wanted to put on one of them. And I think I'm just going to hook it again over the top. You wouldn't have to do that. I could cut it and I could glue some here. Let's just do that. Just instead of hooking it over the top, I'll just put one on this side. And then I'll put this one on the back side, but let's decorate this side here too while we're at it. So here's another piece of scrap lace. I'm just going to cut it in half. So I'll use the other half on the back side. I'm trying not to think too hard about what types of laces I'm using. Like I said, I just kind of grabbed, I had these ideas of what paper clips I wanted to make, and I just grabbed the most likely laces that I had in my stash that seemed like they would work for the project. So I'll glue that one there. And we can add some layers on top of these then. I do have this pretty wedding lace with lots of really small beads. So maybe that one would look nice on top here. I still have more of this wedding lace left. And this is like a remnant. I cut apart a curtain. And this was like some of the pieces in between the layers. And I thought it would make a nice little layering layer. So I might put that underneath this one. So I think I like that. Might just spread this out a little bit more. And again, on this one, I'm just going to cut that little pearl off the top. So there will be one paper clip on that side. I'm trying to decide if I want to do anything else on this one. I'm just trying to imagine it. I think I need something. Let's see. I have some of these little flowers. I could cut one of those off, but I have this piece that I must have wanted to use on something, and then I ended up not using it. It has a piece of like felt on the back. I'm going to see if I can rip that off, or at least cut it down, because I want to take off a little bit of the bulk. So let's just see if I can or not. That's a little bit better. It's not quite as bulky. It's pretty close. I got most of it off, I think. Okay, that's pretty close. You can see I got most of it off. And I'm just going to take the pearl off of this one too. Before I glue that down, let's just add a little bit of eyelash trim on this one. And we'll just glue that down on top. So there's one side of the paper clips decorated. So let's do the back side real quick. And then we'll go ahead and trim it up after that. So again, on this side, I'll start off with the same kind of base layers of lace. You know, and if you're happy with just the one layer, you can just leave it like that too. I mean, you don't have to add as many layers as I do if you don't want to. So let's see, on this side, I have this dangle and I kind of like that. So let's go ahead and glue the dangle down. I know this trim came from Kim at Angel Dreams Crafts. Kim, she has this dangle in her shop quite a bit on Etsy. It's one of my favorite dangles, but I always seem to have a few pieces of it floating around. So that'll be kind of nice, you know, if that's a paper clip and that's hanging down. And then we need something for here. I do have just some remnants of some bridal trims. I do kind of like that. And if I were to put just a little bit of eyelash trim underneath it, I think that would work. So let's do that. And I think this one came off of like some lace from a wedding dress that I took off the lace, and I've been using the little bits and pieces that I took off, and this was an off cut. And so that's what that one looks like. I'm gonna give this, and I gotta see if I want something else on top of this one though, or if I like it just like that. I think I like this one, so let's glue this one on top. And then we'll call that one good. So I'm gonna give this just a minute to dry, and then I'm going to take out the Teflon sheet, and then I'll show you how to cut it apart. So I'll be back as soon as the glue is dried on this one. So I think this is dried enough that I can take it off and not worry that it's going to attach itself. And you can even see as I'm taking this out that it did seep through the material. So I'm really glad that I didn't that I used the little sheet here, otherwise it would have been glued together. So I'm going to take this out, and so now this is kind of what we're left with. You can see both sides here. And then, so the next step is to just go ahead and you can kind of trim in between the two paper clips. So now we have two paper clips, and I was just looking for my little scrap paper here that we've been using. So like again, you'd put this on your page, and if you like it like that, you could leave it like that. It's just a little too, I want it a little more raggedy than this, so I'm just going to start just kind of cutting, you know, maybe rip the material a little bit. I just want it a little more shabby looking. So I'm just going to continue to do that until I'm a little happier with the way it looks here. And again, there was 2 layers of material on both sides, so you're going to have to kind of rip it on both of those layers. And you could have done this initially right away too, but I like to wait till the end and then see how my lace layers look, and then that kind of gives me an idea how I want to rip some things. And of course, if you like to use little bits, scraps like this, you have some of those left to use for something else. Like if you do a snippet roll or something like that. So I'm thinking this side is looking pretty good. Or better than it was. And you can, you know, cut in a little bit here maybe, so it's not so perfect. I'm going to cut in right here too. You know, if you like the more clean and simple look, you could have left it exactly how it was, but like I said, I kind of wanted this one a little bit more shabby. And then you could even, like on this one, in between these 2 layers, I might glue in some cheesecloth here, so we'll see here. So let's see what I can do on this side to make it look. I don't like perfect angles when I'm making stuff that looks shabby, so I'm just kind of making it look as ragged as I can. So let's just see what this one looks like. Yeah, that isn't too bad. I mean, you could still, like I said, you could still even add more to this one if you wanted. I think I'm going to try and trim a little bit more off. See if I can get a little more off or not. Okay, I think I'm liking that side a little bit better now. So there's what that side looks like on that one. And that's what this side looks like. And like I said, you could still add a little bit more layers to this one if you really wanted to. Just seeing what I have sitting here. You know, if you wanted to add some more trims. I think I'm just going to leave it though for now on that one. So I think I'm fairly happy with that one. Like, I'm tempted to add some cheesecloth in between some of these layers, but yeah, maybe I will, but then I'd have to let it dry, so maybe I won't do that. So let's see about trimming this one a little bit. So we just did this one, so let's try and trim this one. And again, if you like a little bit more clean and simple, you could definitely just leave it like that. Of course, sometimes the material cooperates and you can trim it, and sometimes you can't. There. So I'm thinking this side is looking a little bit better. I'm just going to kind of cut and tear at the same time just to make the edge down there look a little shabbier. So now we just have this side to do. So I just want to take a quick peek at what it looks like after I've torn a little bit. Looks like I still need to tear a little bit more here. Shabby that up a little bit. And then that's what, I really like how this side turned out. And then there's that side. I think I'm good with this side, so I'm going to leave it. So it looks like we got quite a few paper clips made in today's session of using up little bits of lace. And I'll just, again, kind of recap what we did. We made some really basic paper clips with tying lace on top, little bits of lace. And again, this one was a definite remnant off of something that I had cut up. We also made kind of a one where the back of the paper clip was exposed just by using a piece of paper and layering up on top of it. That one's really cute. A hidden paper clip one with some stamping and of course little bits of lace left over. This one's probably my favorite one that we created today. Also this hidden paper clip one, and I'm thinking on this one, now that I'm looking at it, I think I'm just going to do a little bit more trimming on the sides of this one just to shabby it up a little bit. But there was that side of that one, and then also the back side of this one. Again, you're just going to see that little bit up there once it's on a project. But I like how that one turned out. And then these last two that we did with material and these hidden paper clips that we made with material and lace. And of course, I really love how these turned out. I can't wait to use a few of these in my little bits of lace journal. I'm just going to have to decide, you know, which ones end up making it. And I know I've gotten a couple of questions, and I will definitely, when I start adding some of these things into my journal, I'll do like a decorate with me, decorate my little bits of lace journal, and I'll use all the little pieces that we've worked on in these different episodes to add to that one. Once I get to that, some of the pages I've been showing as I've been going, but these ones so far I don't have a specific spot to put them into the journal yet until I get going a little bit further. But I will do a decorate with me videos on the little bits of lace when I start adding in the little different embellishments we've been making. So again, I have all of the lists of all the episodes that I've done thus far in the description box. So if you guys open that up, I also have a playlist if you want to watch from the beginning to where we are now, if you're just tuning in. I have Corey Dahman's link on there also, so don't forget to open up that description box to find all those things, and hopefully I will see you guys back again soon for another episode of Little Bits of Lace. Until then, have a wonderful day and happy crafting.